And so thank you so much for being the early birds. And as you're still coming in, you can still let us know where you're zooming from and how long you've been with TechSoup. So welcome to TechSoup, everybody. This is new member orientation and Q&A. We hope to answer a lot of questions for you. So make sure you put them in the chat or the Q&A section, and we have team members here that will help you. I'm going to show you on the next slide how you can engage. You will get the recording and these slides. There's going to be lots of hyperlinks in the slides, so you'll get that later today. If you need the closed caption, just tap on the CC button, the closed caption at the bottom of your screen. There's going to be a 2-question survey that's going to pop up. We would love to know what other topics you would like TechSoup to share with you. So please take a moment to fill that survey out. I'm going to move out of the way and turn it over to the TechSoup team that's going to take you in further. Welcome to TechSoup.
Hi, everybody. And if you're on the West Coast, good morning. But I know that there are folks joining us from across North America. So whatever time zone you're in, welcome to the TechSoup new member orientation today. My name is Nick Finn. I'm the head of global growth marketing at TechSoup. You've just met the wonderful Aretha Simons, who handles all our webinar needs. We're also joined today by Kevin Mulhall, as senior director of the customer success team, and Kelly Garrett, who's a manager from the client services team here at TechSoup. We are all here today to welcome you and hopefully teach you a little bit about how TechSoup can help your nonprofit and how you can take advantage of the offers, services, and educational opportunities available through TechSoup. So let's start with the big question, because if you're new to TechSoup, you may not know the full scope of what we do. What is TechSoup? We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization with more than 400,000 nonprofit members in the United States, and you can join too. TechSoup is, in fact, greater than the United States. We serve the entire world. It's very likely that we have folks from Canada on the call today as well, from TechSoup Canada. And so if you're outside the United States, you'll need to make sure that you're going through your local TechSoup in order to use our catalog. We'll talk more about that later. Our mission is to support nonprofits working with technology to help build a more equitable planet. It is broad and aspirational, and that's because we do have a perspective. We believe that human beings can do a better job building a better world, and we believe that technology can be a powerful tool in the hands of the right people to achieve those ends. One of the ways that we support nonprofits is we host a catalog of affordable technology products from major brands like Microsoft, Dell, Intuit, Adobe, and many, many more. That catalog contains nonprofit specific pricing, usually something that we have negotiated with the technology provider, in this case, the corporation that creates these technology products. Because one of the things we do know about tech is, frankly, sometimes the price alone makes it difficult for nonprofits to work with it. So we try to do what we can to make it slightly more affordable, but we do much, much more than that. We also offer numerous services to help nonprofits manage their technology stacks. These are services that we have developed over time. We have been serving the nonprofit sector for more than 30 years in technology now. So we know a thing or two about how tech has evolved and what nonprofits find their needs are in the modern world. We also create educational resources to help nonprofit staff build their technology skills and expertise. And like most of you on this call, we also deliver grant-based programming. And in our case, it's specifically to help civil society to use technology. So already, with a simple question, what is TechSoup? We've got 6 answers on the board here. And I think what I like to call out here is TechSoup is a nonprofit just like you, and it means that we try to do an awful lot of different things, and we wear a lot of different hats depending on what the situation is and what we can do that is most helpful to the nonprofits we serve. Now I want to pivot to some key terms that you will hear used in TechSoup and around our catalog and our offers that are important to understand. The first is this term qualified. Because TechSoup only serves 501c3 nonprofit organizations in the US and whatever the equivalent is around the world. Because we only serve nonprofits and the pricing that we offer is only for nonprofits, we have to make sure that the folks who use the TechSoup catalog are qualified. And that means that you have joined TechSoup and you have submitted your nonprofit qualification materials. That means, like in the US, most often it's the EIN, your employer identification number. But we need that paperwork from you to know that you are indeed a valid 501c3 nonprofit and therefore are eligible to use the catalog. So that's what qualified means. Membership is another term that matters here because TechSoup is a membership organization and your nonprofit must be a TechSoup member before we can support you. Eligibility is a different issue. There are some products in the TechSoup catalog that have more stringent criteria based on budget size and mission area. In those cases, there are tighter eligibility restrictions. You may not run across these, but in some small cases, you may. You don't have to lose sleep about it right now, though. Digital resilience is the concept of just ensuring that your nonprofit's technology stack can quickly respond, adapt, and continue to serve during some kind of external disruption or crisis. And I think anybody working in the nonprofit industry right now is very well aware of what external disruptions or crises can look like. Civil society is a term we use to describe change makers and do-gooders around the world working in nonprofits, charities, and other non-governmental organizations. Civil society is that other space where the corporations have decided they can't make money doing it, and the government has decided they can't spend money doing it. Civil society, nonprofits, us on this call step into that gap and try to make that change ourselves. I want to talk about TechSoup's membership levels here for a quick second because these are evolving, but they are important to call out. As a way to structure how you can engage with TechSoup, we have 3 membership tiers. The first one is called DIY, the second one is called Boost, and the third one is called Quad. The DIY membership level has no cost to join, but provides you with the bare essentials at TechSoup and is best for organizations who really already know exactly what they need and they're not looking for any specific advice or education. DIY gives you access to our online catalog and some of our grant-funded content. But if you're interested in more than that, because what you actually are interested in is experimenting with technology or getting some of the real educational content that TechSoup can provide, then you have the Boost membership level, which at $99 a year, honestly, is a steal. Um, in Boost, you also, in addition to your access to the main catalog, you get access to some of the special additional discounts that come into TechSoup from time to time. And those can be extremely positive discounts, actually. You get access to our grant-funded content, and you also save quite a bit of money on all the 100 and 200 level courses that are offered through TechSoup. Finally, Quad is the third membership level. It is $200 per organization each year. And in Quad, you sort of get the entire value of TechSoup. You get access to the full catalog. You get access to all the additional discounts that are available through that catalog on time basis. And you also get the full exposure to the Quad platform, which has a lot of exclusive content and peer-to-peer community. So for example, that would mean like if you're a nonprofit that works on hunger issues or food security, Quad has space in it where you would be able to converse and interact and engage with other organizations doing the same work. And the reason we develop that space is because it often means it's a place where you can share advice and best practices and tools that you may have found that are helpful for your specific nonprofit that other nonprofits may want to know about. So, Again, to recap here, you've got three membership levels: DIY, Boost, and Quad. And I think Boost really, in my mind, is probably the sweet spot of all of them right now. Now, let's talk about the product catalog that's available through TechSoup. And I'm going to see if I've got the live link here. I don't. So what I'm quickly going to do is pop over here to the live website. Are folks still able to see that? Hopefully.
Yes.
Um, Somebody can just drop into chat whether you're able to see the live website on my screen, or are you still seeing the slide deck? Great. Okay. So here's the TechSoup site today in the United States, TechSoup.org. And what I want to call out is some of the basic functionality and share with you some of the big offers that we have on here. So here in the drop-down menu, you have something called products. Obviously, it quickly ties you into some of the big ones we're going to talk about: Microsoft, Adobe, Intuit QuickBooks, and hardware. Microsoft has been a strong partner of TechSoup's kind of from the beginning. They really encouraged TechSoup in the early years to dream big about what we might do to support the nonprofit sector. And so we did, and we've always partnered with Microsoft. And today, our partnership with Microsoft has some pretty complex and pretty great offers in it. Folks who are using AI would be interested to know right off the bat that Microsoft Copilot is available through TechSoup. Our most popular offer from Microsoft really is Office 365, or some call it Microsoft 365. You can see here. This is the online cloud version of Office with Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all the bits of software you're used to using in the workplace. And TechSoup can help you manage your procurement of Microsoft licenses. We can help you manage which licenses you choose, how to activate them. Um, and we have more available to nonprofits who might be using some of the more sophisticated platforms that Microsoft offers. That includes some developer tools and some server tools, including Azure. You can get Windows Server through TechSoup. So if you are a heavy Microsoft using nonprofit and you are trying to do better in that area, I think we can definitely be of help. Adobe is another platform that we have lots of engagement with on the TechSoup site. Adobe are one of the leaders, obviously, in developing graphics programs for online and print, but it's really all online that we care about here. For instance, through TechSoup, you can get Adobe Creative Cloud, which if you work in communications or in design at a nonprofit, is kind of like the standard for working on stuff, although it's not the only thing anymore. Adobe Express is another product that's available through TechSoup that lots of folks use for like basic social media management, that kind of thing, and developing graphics for that. Um, there is also Acrobat Pro DC, which is the online cloud version of Adobe Acrobat Pro. Um, we do also have Adobe Acrobat Pro 2020 for Mac and for Windows. This is the downloadable version that sits on your computer, but I want to tell you right now, this is going out of stock in 2 weeks and will not come back. So we are trying to get that locked down right now. But if Adobe Acrobat Pro, like the downloadable version versus the cloud version, is of particular interest to your nonprofit, I would take action on that right now because it's not going to be around for much longer. Um, Intuit QuickBooks is another platform that tons of nonprofits acquire through TechSoup. Um, Obviously, managing your finances and your books is a hugely important part of nonprofit operations. And it only took the pandemic several years ago to remind us that these paper and pencil accounting systems that some nonprofits were using are wholly inadequate. Um, if you're not already using some kind of online accounting package for your nonprofit, I really recommend QuickBooks. And it's available through TechSoup. The online version is the thing that most people go for, but it is one of the most popular product series at TechSoup. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Finally, TechSoup also works in the hardware sphere, and we have a couple of interesting products to pull out there. So first of all, if you go to the hardware section on the site, there are a number of different items here. For instance, mobile devices. We definitely have access to desktops and laptops for your nonprofit. We have access to monitors. We also host a lot of networking equipment. There's security cameras. Cisco in particular is a big partner of TechSoup. In any case, printers also, those were new to the catalog about 6 years ago, and been very popular ever since then. So if you are used to looking at other platforms like Best Buy or Amazon as the place where your nonprofit acquires computers and hardware, I'd recommend that you also look at the TechSoup site instead. Often you'll find that our pricing is just really good and right where you need to be. And I'll also add one of the great things about the TechSoup hardware program is that we have access to refurbished devices, which is really important because that's a fantastic way to spend a little bit less on some of these hardware items. And it's cool because it actually links back to the TechSoup social mission. TechSoup was one of the original places that said, hey, it's really environmentally poor practice to simply throw away 2 or 3 year old pieces of hardware just because the new latest and greatest version is now out on the market. In fact, a lot of that hardware can run and handle workload for much longer. And so we early on partnered with refurbishers who take a look at these devices, make sure that the memory's wiped, that they are still up to spec, meaning they can handle the workload. And those are available as used units. And so the TechSoup refurbished hardware program is a really positive part of our catalog. We're always happy when nonprofits opt to go with refurbished hardware through TechSoup. Um, and obviously, the environmental argument we were making has really resonated because refurbished computers and hardware is now a huge industry around the world, and it's great because again, as I said, we were one of the original folks who said, "Hey, we need to do better around the environmental devices." Okay, so that is a quick look at some of the items that are available through the TechSoup catalog. There are a lot of other brands that are available through TechSoup, and I'm just sharing this quick screenshot here. I think in one case, actually, I've got one on here who've gone through name change, so I do need to update this. But these by no means are the only partners available through the TechSoup catalog, but I just give it to you as a visual example of some of the other brands we have there, and really encourage you to take a look at that catalog, see what's in there that might be helpful for your nonprofit. Um, Talked about hardware. Let's talk about TechSoup services. So over time, we've really come to understand, and I think everybody on this call probably agrees, that getting a piece of technology, whether hardware or software, is often only the beginning of the journey, really, because now the question becomes, how do you implement it? How do you make sure you're choosing the right licenses? How do you make sure your staff know how to use it? How do you integrate it with other systems that you already have working? How do you actually migrate your legacy data into these platforms? None of that is like turnkey and easy to understand on the face of it. So TechSoup for years has been pioneering add-on services for nonprofits where we try to help you with some of these issues. So let's talk about what some of these are. First of all, they're all available under the services drop down, but I want to go again to the live site and let's talk about that. So here we have the services drop down in the menu. And I've gone to the first page here, which is the all services overview, but we have a number here that are worth coming to. So first is managed IT services. Managed IT is sort of a big picture contract you can set up with TechSoup or one of our supporting providers, where we work with you to help you manage your entire technology stack. And this is a great product if you're a nonprofit that really only has like a part-time IT person, or maybe you don't have an IT person at all, but you still have some technology that you need to manage and you need some help with it. Managed IT is really the way to go there. A scaled down version of that is help desk. Help desk is sort of like a one solution thing where, for instance, if you have one specific piece of technology that gives you ongoing problems, you can partner with us to help you manage that particular piece of technology. And I think the example I always hear people talk about is like if there's that printer in your office, or maybe it's your home office now because we know how the world has evolved. And you need particular help with that printer in an ongoing basis. Help desk is like a contractual relationship with TechSoup where we can help you with that. I mentioned Microsoft already. We have a number of services available for folks who are implementing or managing Microsoft 365 at their nonprofit. So if you're using Microsoft 365 and you know you need help, I encourage you to reach out to us. We can help you with that. Um, Website services. I have yet to meet a nonprofit that says that their website is everything that it needs to be. In most cases, everybody's thinking about how they can make it better, how they can update it from the last version that they built 15 years ago. And often it's hard to figure out exactly what you need to do, who you need to work with, what are the new technologies in play that you need to work with. Again, we have services built to help you understand that. That includes building the site itself, scoping out what you might want to do with the site. I want to be super clear that these services are not free services. All of these things do cost money, but they are priced and built with a nonprofit audience in mind. So I encourage you to take a look at what might be available and helpful to your nonprofit. In some cases, nonprofits actually need help constructing their outbound marketing. Not every nonprofit engages in outbound marketing, but for those who do, it could be tricky to know exactly what it is you should be doing. Is it email? Is it advertising? Should you be doing paid social media? Digital marketing services can help you understand more and more about what would work there. And again, calling out Intuit QuickBooks services here. If you're adopting Intuit QuickBooks and you need help moving your legacy financial data into QuickBooks, that's a service that can help you do that. And then finally, going to this one in particular, AI, of course, being the hot topic of technology for the last 2 years now. We are, of course, engaged in the conversation around how can nonprofits use artificial intelligence. Um, and that includes like what safeguards should you have in place around it? What are your use cases for using AI at your nonprofit? What are acceptable parameters for AI use? These are all things that you can engage with TechSoup on. Um, we certainly do believe that AI can be an extremely powerful tool for you. I certainly use it at TechSoup and find specifically when I'm working with data, for instance, and building SQL queries and that kind of thing, that AI is just invaluable at helping me quickly get queries correct and troubleshoot things. But the use cases for it are broad and endless. But if your nonprofit is really wanting to engage on the question of how do you use AI for your nonprofit, TechSoup can really help there. Okay, we're running through a pretty good set of decks here, of offers and decks here. Next, I want to ask my friend and colleague Kevin Mulhall to step forward here. Kevin works with the TechSoup Customer Success Group. And we've got we've got two different groups here that I'm going to bring forward. So there's Kevin's group and then there's Kelly's group, and they have two separate missions, and it's important that you understand what they are. So Kevin's group is here to help you with like the technology itself, most particularly when it's a tricky technology implementation like Microsoft, for instance. But that's the customer success team, the team that's going to help you make the most of the tech that you have. And so, Kevin, take it away.
Thanks, Nick. Thumbs up, you can hear me okay? Yeah, excellent. Right, great. So again, Kevin Mahal, Senior Account Executive on the Customer Success team. Really in 60 seconds, as Nick mentioned, alluded to, think of us and our team as a more advanced type of support group in terms of our technical skills and knowledge. We have a team right now of about 8 folks. The combined experience actually now between our merged group is probably closer to like 50 years in the sector or 60. But myself and my direct colleague, Tony, liaise specifically around technology questions and concerns. We sit between the space of account support and managed services. So what that means is that we are able to interface with you. The slide demonstrates areas specifically in which we can engage, but we do not provide full end-to-end support for products. A lot of times, nonprofits simply need to be able to get from A to B, not necessarily A to C. And we are in between those 2 points to help bridge that gap. So things like technology auditing, as Nick's brought up multiple times, different products, different services. I saw a couple people had pinged into the chat around QuickBooks. That is where we'll interface. So the ability to connect with us exists in 2 realms. Is our team will engage around the pre-purchase process of a product or service. Lynn and I believe it was Frank had questions around QuickBooks migration. That's our bread and butter. Of being able to provide that information around that step-by-step process. Now, if your organization is on top of looking at QuickBooks is thinking, well, we need to review all of what we have, like, whether it's cost planning or whatever. The way to do that and the way to get into all of these areas is through, as Nick mentioned earlier, the quad membership tier. It's a very, I'm biased, it's a very light investment to get a lot out of it. In terms, again, of technology auditing, we're gonna find areas where you can consolidate your technologies, expand your technologies, plan accordingly. Things like requests for proposals or scopes of work. We understand that you may be working with a external providing partner or potentially engaging with one. Again, that advisory role as a quad member, I cannot tell you the number of RFPs I review and scopes of work for billable service and or product, some of which, let's face it, are not really spec'd correctly, meaning what you should be spending maybe $2,000-3,000 on in a case, I will see quoted at 8, 10, or 12. We can't control everything, but as a quad member, again, we're there to be a trusted advisor for you on that. So with that, I will kick that back to you, Nick.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Kevin. So again, Kevin's group can help you deal with the actual tech products and making sure you're getting the most out of that and not paying some crazy fee that you shouldn't be paying. There's also a second group now that I'm going to bring forward. This is Kelly Garrett and the TechSoup Client Services team. So these folks help you manage your relationship with TechSoup itself, right? So maybe you're having trouble logging into your account, or you haven't found like a fulfillment email, or you have a question about adding another person to your account, stuff like that. When you are trying to manage your TechSoup relationship, that's where Kelly Garrett and the client services team can help you. Take it away, Kelly.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a good week. I've been answering some of you guys in the Q&A and in the webinar chat, so it's been good working with you. My section today is about TechSoup customer service, which is part of client services. We focus on assisting members with kind of day-to-day stuff, account management for the TechSoup website, finding offers, navigating our website, things along those lines. So I always like to start off this presentation with an overview of how to review a offer page or a product page, which is located on the website that Nick's been navigating around. Once you do find a offer that you're interested in, maybe you went through that donor company drop-down list, maybe you went through the category list, maybe you search something specifically in that top right corner that I've highlighted there, and you find an offer, you click on it, you'll get what's called the offer or product page. all the information we have from our corporate partners who provide the donation or discount, we put on this product page to ensure that you have as much information as possible. First place I always recommend looking is underneath the product name there at the top. So this one's QuickBooks Online Plus. You'll see there's actually a list of information that calls out who was the donor partner, corporate partner, both terms are used. What category is this in? This is in accounting and in cloud computing software. Then it goes into format, platforms. Platforms is always really important to look at because there are some things that are PC only or Mac only. So that's where I always have people check first. The admin fee you see is also listed there. We do charge an admin fee to cover our costs, which as a nonprofit, we all know we need to do to keep helping the sector and whatnot. Underneath there is where you can update the quantity and add to the cart. And you'll see that it also lists the organization name that you are requesting the product for. It's not uncommon for folks to be volunteering or working at multiple nonprofits, or maybe are a consultant that's helping nonprofits. And your one TechSoup login can actually be associated to multiple organizations' accounts. So you do always want to make sure that you're requesting the product for the right organization if you are representing multiple folks on TechSoup. Underneath there, really important to make sure you click through all tabs of information. You always start with the description tab loading first, the far left one. But the middle tab has a lot of information, especially for those subscription products or those access to discounted rate products. It will usually have a breakdown of what the discounted rate is after you pay the admin fee. It will have, links to system requirements, things along those lines. And then the far right corner is usually where you're going to find all of your rules, eligibility requirements, restrictions, things like that. Because while TechSoup is available to any public library or nonprofit with 501c3 public charity status, you're not eligible for every single offer or partner's nonprofit program. Each partner sets their own eligibility. They have their own philanthropic goals. And while you might not be eligible for something, that's when, Kevin's team comes in. They can help you find an alternative, something you're not eligible for. And if you're curious why you're not eligible, that far right tab is usually where you can find the information of it. It calls out, oh, hey, we're not working with churches right now, or we're not working with healthcare organizations right now. And again, it's not a comment on what you do. It's just how they've narrowed their scope for their own philanthropic goals. Next slide, please. So as I was saying, that middle tab, all three tabs are important, but especially those subscription products like QuickBooks Online. It does usually have a continuing service after 1 year information there that links to our TechSoup support articles with more of a detailed breakdown. There's also usually information on that middle tab about existing subscribers or existing users. There are products that are designed for new users and new subscriptions, and it can't be applied to an existing subscription. So that is something very important to double check for. If you're using like QuickBooks Online Plus, you're not going to be able to apply the discount to it directly. There is going to be a data migration and opening up a new account and things along those lines. So definitely make sure to check all that information, since a lot of these products are non-refundable and cannot be exchanged. So you do want to make sure you're feeling confident about it before you move forward, which again, TechSoup customer service can help you locate different information. And if you've got a lot of in-depth questions and you really want to talk about what your specific needs are, and then also what we have available and what that offer is actually offering, TechSoup's customer success team that Kevin is on, again, is a great resource to get in contact with, which our customer service team can absolutely do for you. We can pass along your contact information if needed, if you need a consultation. And Kevin has been putting his email address into the webinar chat. So if you haven't noticed that yet, there is a direct contact to him if you want to set up a consultation with his team. Next slide, please. So Nick, while he was navigating the website, there was a lot of different drop downs. We saw the services one up there and this and that. The far right option is called help. And if you click on that, you will see an option that says TechSoup support. You can also get to this, to our TechSoup support by going to support.techsoup.org. This is the landing page once you navigate there, either by bookmarking that support website or by clicking on TechSoup support underneath the help drop down. And from there, you can search topics. There's also 3 categories. We do have product support, Microsoft support, general support, and then we have promoted articles, which are the ones that we usually see members asking those questions related to that article. And so we promote those to try to make sure it's easy navigation for you all. Next slide, please. So just to kind of recap what we've talked about in this webinar, who can do what for you? Customer success, which is my team's client services, customer success, synonymous with each other. We can help you with account management for your TechSoup account. Now, if you're trying to get help with like Microsoft for nonprofits, your login's not working on Microsoft's website, you can't, their website's giving you an error message, things like that, you do need to usually reach out to the partner who owns the website and can help you with navigating what's going on their systems and their websites. You know, so TechSoup's customer service can help you with your TechSoup account management. We can get you, I can help you get a new password. We can help you get that association code, things like that. We're also there to answer eligibility questions for you. So if you're getting an error message at the checkout that you can't check out because you're not eligible, there's a lot of different things it could be. It could be your budget size. You know, some partners limit how big a budget is or how small a budget is to access their offers. Location, you know, if you're in a territory versus mainland United States, that can sometimes affect access. So, you know, any questions about eligibility or the restrictions, we're happy to talk to you about. And then also just navigating the TechSoup website, you know, what resources are there, where's the information that you're looking for, that kind of stuff. Customer success, as Kevin explained right before this, was going over, you know, they can give you that consultation service. They can get into the nitty gritty of what do you need to support your mission activities? What does TechSoup have available? What's even maybe outside of TechSoup's catalog that we know of or we've partnered with in a marketplace kind of environment? You know, we can definitely do all that stuff for you. And then, of course, going over the tiers of membership. You know, a lot of great options with that membership that we've been talking about the whole time, and it does get you a lot more. You know, if you're, I personally am not IT savvy. I've never set up a computer from scratch. My go-to is turning a computer off and on and seeing if that works to resolve my issue. So, you know, that membership is really nice to get access to some more of those in-depth support services, information, and stuff like that. So again, customer success, a little more in-depth. They're going to help you with the product selection, consultations, things like that. But any account management, you want to go back to customer service. And last but not least, of course, is that solutions and services option that Nick went over at the beginning. You know, customer success can assist you, but they're also not the IT team to go in and fix your computer. We will, you know, you do want to think about, do you need an IT professional? Do you need someone that's going to do it remotely for you, like the QuickBooks Online data migration? We partnered with QuickBooks Made Easy. Their representatives and their trained experts work with you and remotely do the transfer for you. And so like that's an example of those services that Nick talked about earlier. So just like breaking it up, because we do have folks that come to TechSoup customer service expecting a kind of high level IT experience, you know, that kind of stuff. And that's not what customer service is there for. It's more general customer service stuff. And then we've got our other teams to provide the solutions you are looking for. Perfect. And I do recommend with the how to contact TechSoup customer service, the 2 linked articles right there, I did put in the webinar chat earlier. So you will see that. I recommend that if you're trying to get in touch with us and you're kind of struggling finding the live chat option or getting that going, make sure you're reviewing both of these TechSoup support articles. We are open pretty much Monday through Friday without fail, unless there's a 3-day weekend or we have an all-staff meeting we have to pull the team for. It's not too frequent, but we're usually open from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Monday through Thursday. And then Fridays, we do close our chats at 12:30 p.m. And this is Pacific time. We are located on the West Coast. We do close it off at 12 so we can work on qualifications, get back to any emails we have and things like that. So, you know, if you're not able to get in touch with us, please double check these articles for our hours of operations, any closures that might be happening. And if you aren't able to access the live chat, it's almost always a browser related situation. So if you're not seeing the help bubble that pops up, or you're opening it, or you're not getting the help bubble popping up, or it's not working properly, that's almost always a security setting in your browser, or a pop-up blocker, or an ad blocker. So there's a lot of troubleshooting in there that does resolve the issues. So if you've been having trouble, please try everything. And it's almost always a browser or device situation going on. We're actively taking chats, and if our chat crashes, we know immediately and we get right on it to fix it. And it's pretty rare that that happens. So next slide, please. I believe that was, yes. So this is just a visual of what I was talking about. You'll see that help bubble in the bottom right corner, and you'll, when you click it, that is a pop-up window. So if you're blocking pop-up windows, that window's not going to pop up for you. You do see that the hours are listed at the top there. We do keep that up to date. And you will be greeted with an AI system when you open the live chat. It's just going to prompt you of like, oh, you're on the QuickBooks Online page. Here's all the QuickBooks Online TechSoup support articles. And then if you're idle for quite a while, or you just say help, or something like that, you will be given the option to get in touch if we are online. And then you will be eventually connected with a live representative. We don't use chat AI to work with our members. We only use AI at the beginning just to give you some resources while you're waiting to be connected with a member to see if you can self-serve. As a nonprofit ourselves, our resources can be limited, and right now we are experiencing a huge volume of contacts and registrations. So the qualification process is taking longer than the 10 business days it usually takes. And our chats have had up to 2-hour waits to get through to us. So we are working on it. We are doing the absolute best we can. And we really appreciate our members' patience and understanding and empathy as a fellow 501c3 nonprofit, that it's an interesting time out there, and we're really doing the best we can, and we will work with you, and you will get to a real person, not a bot. I believe that
All
was
right,
my last slide. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kelly, and thank you everybody who attended today's webinar. I realize that we covered a lot of material today. Again, as I was saying on the front end, as a nonprofit, we wear many hats ourselves, and we do try to fit into all the different spaces our nonprofit members need us to fit in order to best help them with what it is that they are working on. Um, Today, we're going to try another little experiment in our efforts to do better all the time. And while I'm going to go off camera and all our mics are going to be off, we are going to leave the webinar open and leave the chat live, so that if you are in the midst of a conversation with one of the folks in our chat team, or have a question that's not yet answered, we want to get all of those processed in today's webinar. So if you've got what you need today, please feel free to drop off. But if you want to engage further in the chat for this webinar, you are welcome to hang out with the cameras and mics off and finish that chat. So with that, I want to say thank you to all of you. Because you've all made the decision and the choice to work in the nonprofit movement and in the nonprofit sector yourself. And almost always what we know is that when people do that, it's because they care deeply about a particular issue, or they really want to serve their community or help a particular group of people. And I want to thank you, each of you, because you've made that decision in your life as well. And, you know, working in the nonprofit industry is a big deal. It is really hard sometimes, but we're doing it because we really want to help. So cameras and mics are about to go off. If you want to stick around and chat, please feel free to do so. If not, please do remember to complete the post-event survey that you'll get an email. And thank you again for your time and attention today. Good luck out there.